On this episode of The Bender Hour.
New Vegas is great, but the DLCs all suck balls, with the exception of Old World Blues. No, wait, not Old World Blues.
Dead Money.
Dead Money.
Nice try.
With the exception of Dead Money.
Alpha and Omega.
Yeah, like, you know, I get...
Beginning and end.
Yeah, he talks about that, but, like, if you think about it, the whole...
That's from the Bible.
Thanks, James.
But except we would actually be a profitable company at
Yeah.
the end of the day, because we're just better.
Problem is, I think there actually
I
are...
am better.
Baby food. What's adult food?
The first thing I wanted to start with here is a little discussion about a philosophical question of sorts.
All right, let's hear it.
And that is, how do modern game developers fuck the most simplest things up so fucking bad now? And this is all stemming from a recent experience I had, actually, yesterday. I was playing, I decided to hop on War Thunder for the first time in a while. And you remember the Atomic Thunder thing that they showed off during April Fools?
Yes.
Where it was just like the stupid tech tree?
It's like playable
So they
now.
added it. They made it playable. And I was like, oh, let me try it out. It sucked ass. It was honestly, no joke, worse than the April Fools event.
Really?
And that's fucking saying something. There are 3 playable robots in this. Remember how they showed like entire tech trees before?
No, real quick, just
there are
to,
3.
Not to interrupt you, I'm sorry, but I've played one round of it just for reference.
Okay. So for anyone at home who hasn't played it, there are 3 robots that are playable. 2 of them are recolors of each other. And then each team has the same lineup of robots. So there's 2 robots. And they play fucking awful. It is the worst thing. Like, the stupid big, like, attack robot that fires missiles that do no damage.
Yeah.
And then it has, like, the stupid jump that has so much startup lag that anything can get away from you. And it's just, like, how did Gaijin take an idea, like robots fighting each other, and fuck it up so bad? I played 1 round. It went on for 20 fucking minutes, and I was so bored that when it was over, I just Alt F4'd and didn't play another game for the rest of the day, because I was so fucking, like, just out of my mind. Like, I don't want to play games anymore after this.
It's really brutal, huh? Well...
It was fucking bad.
What's really funny about that is my first round went, like, spectacular. Like, it couldn't have gone any better.
My first round went good as well, too. I got 8 kills because I played as the stupid, like, Object 906, like that light tank.
Yeah.
And I managed to sneak around the map, got behind the enemy team, and I got, like, 8 kills. And then I decided to let myself get killed so I could spawn in the robot and see what that was like. And then I just rolled around the map like a fucking droideka for the next, like, 15 minutes. While nothing happened.
So, what happened for me was I started out in the Bradley, realized, like, shit, this thing doesn't have thermals. So, I go around, I'm playing as normal, got a couple kills, finally get taken down. I had enough points... I was like 1 fucking point shy of getting the big stupid droideka, so I come in the M60, and I'm doing good, and that's when I see a laser come down from the sky. I was like, what the fuck is that? I look up, it's one of those stupid little, like, dumb flying ones, and it's doing nothing to me.
Those things, I don't know what the point of them is.
Like, it made my treads yellow.
I managed to get a kill on 1, like, droideka robot by shooting at it for, like, 2 seconds. So I assume that thing was, like, on death's doorstep anyway. Everything else that I shot at for the rest of the match, including helicopters and other flying robots, it didn't even give me hit markers. It was just fucking, like, what do those things do? And then there's the repair ones, which are just, like, so assy, I didn't even try to play as them.
So, Like, yeah, I noticed that little laser thing was doing nothing to me. In fact, what it was circling around me. Since I was on an M60, I really had no, like, effective way of trying to shoot it because the turret's too slow to, like, swivel and blast them away. And it's, shooting at my treads, it turned them yellow, didn't do any, like, real damage. And then, like, it fucked off and crashed into the building I was flying next to. So I keep going. Get one more kill, I die, come out in the droideka. And I'm like, oh shit, this thing can roll around, like, fast as fuck. So... like an idiot, I didn't even like test the missiles how they work before I got into a man-on-man fight. I managed to get behind another tank, and I'm like, all right, here you go. And I'm like, all right, this thing uses missiles, so I press missile fire, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like nothing, like a missile fired, it went off in some random direction and exploded. I'm like, what is this? So I press it 5 more times, and like the same thing happens. And I'm like, these things are guided, but they have the worst trajectory like ever made.
They're fire and forget, so you're just supposed to like lock onto something. I managed to get 1 kill on a tank with them, and then I fired like 5 at one tank, got a kill with it, and then I got into a fight with another droideka and launched all of them, did no damage, and then the 2 of us just kept jumping up in the air at each other for the rest of the fucking match.
Like, for context, I was like in because I enjoyed the map. I think the map was like all right. It was a little derivative, but hey, it's like an urban map. I'll fucking take it. But I was like in like a little like neck of the roads, there was buildings to my left and right, and there's this tank just barely peeking out of the corner, like its ass was poking out. So I try to fire the rockets at it, and they're shooting left out of my stupid droideka, hitting the building to my left before they can even like go into tracking mode. And I'm like, this is horrible. And of course, I did manage to land 3 rockets on it. It didn't do anything. It said critical hit. The thing fucking left. So I wheeled around. And then finally, I was actually able to get a kill by doing the ground pound. That thing's a 1-hit kill if it lands. And I did manage to land it. It was very stupid. The thing controls like ass when it's like not rolling, and even when it is rolling, it's like horrible.
Dude, when it's rolling, it's horrible. Have you ever jumped while you were rolling?
Yeah, it's like practically impossible.
You don't stop. You go flying like 50 yards away.
Now, here's the thing. As awful as this is, I learned something. It is so hysterical to use the droideka to fuck with your teammates. If you roll into them, dude, the thing has insane mass and literally is not stopped by the weight of tanks. Especially if someone's unlucky enough to be in the T-114 or like a BMP, you fucking knock them around and they can't do anything. So, if we happen to play that again, that's what we're going to be doing. I hope you know, since there's like no real like rewards I care about.
I was looking at the words. The only thing that's like even worth half of a rat's ass.
We're gonna say the profile picture. Yeah, crazy.
For anyone who doesn't know, I'm pretty sure Gaijin actually published Atomic Hearts, which is why they have the rights to do it. But they added the twin robots as a profile icon. But that is, like, reward number 6.
Yeah, good luck.
So you have to, the current challenges are, like, get 20,000 points, like, 3 times, or get 20 kills in the droideka, which is just, like, that's fucking impossible.
That's not happening. And it has to be done, like, within, like, a day and a half. Otherwise, you're locked out of getting those points forever. So there's, like, a certain point where you reach, like, if you got into this event late, you're, like, never going to be able to get enough points to, like, max out. You have to have been doing it from, like, day 1.
Like, good luck doing that when you have a fucking job.
Or, like, self-respect. The same thing they did for their last event. It's just a horrible setup, and they know it. Do it on purpose. Get more fucking money. People will buy.
But I don't think you can buy the profile icons. Like, I don't think you can buy your way through the event. I don't know what the point is for, like, gatekeeping it so fucking hard.
Because they're evil.
And it's like, if you have to, like, devote, like, several hours to getting this fucking, like, 20 kills or 20,000 points. But then, like, you don't get money for doing it. Like, you don't get, like, the Silver Lions. You don't get the research progression for, like, whatever tanks you're trying to get in the game. It's a complete fucking waste.
And on top of that, you're doing the same thing over and over with zero change.
It's one map.
Yep.
It's just one map, the same vehicles every time. There's only 3 fucking robots to play as, and they didn't even have the dignity to give each team, like, different types of robots. you get the exact same robots on each team. They didn't even go through the fucking minimal effort of recoloring, like, so that one team has like red robots and one team has blue robots.
Yeah, it's like at a glance,
both
like,
teams
you don't
get the
recognize
exact same fucking robots, like down to the complete model. It's incredibly fucking lazy.
Yeah, and they've apparently like had this idea like on the back burner since April
at least.
So they just like didn't touch it. And obviously to include all that shit, they had to have had like a good portion of it done like back then for release now.
I don't think they did, to be honest. I think what happened is they had like the stupid tech trees back during April Fools, and the outpour of people wanting to play that instead of the stupid exosuit thing was so immense that they were like, oh shit, like we actually have to make this because this is what our players want. So they rushed the shit out of it, and now it just sucks ass and everyone hates it.
I mean, that sounds about right.
But to circle back to the original
Yes.
proposition of this discussion,
Why do game devs suck?
like, why is it that game devs just suck so much ass now, where they do shit like this, where they take such a simple, great idea as fucking like robot combat and make it the most unfun and boring experience possible?
Well, you're going to be tracing that back to like just the downfall of video games to begin with. You know, you commercialize games to such a degree that it's all just like horrible marketable shit. It's no longer about like trying to make a game that's like fun in its own right that will like get people to buy it, but the fact that it's just so fucking, it's just like a cash cow in microtransactions and other like predatory practices that will get people to spend like little amounts of money over a long period of time. And that's how you get these kind of games. Like those people that had the fucking the drive to make good games, they left because they're like, shit, I'm like old now and like the gaming industry sucks. And then all you're left over are the people that think that these things are like normal. And like they think that these games are like good. So they're just like actual like evil people, pretty much. That's what's left. So they gotta like fuck it up.
People with bad intentions.
Yeah, like bad intentions or just such obliterated standards that they honestly don't know any better. Which I would say is about the same thing as evil intentions. Because we live in the age of like the internet, so if like you didn't go through the effort of actually like, you know, finding out about things for free, then you get what you're fucking you get what's coming to you.
But then it almost makes you wonder, like shit, like you remember fucking like Ukulele?
Yes.
Like those are like old heads. Those are fucking like the guys who made Banjo and Kazooie. Like how did they take their own idea and fuck it up so bad?
Well, that comes down
like,
to...
is it just like this like dark cloud, like this fucking curse over every game designer now?
I kind of agree there's like a dark cloud concept, but I think that comes down more to they were such old heads, they had no idea how fucking Kickstarter worked. I think they saw the money that they got from Kickstarter and they overestimated, and they forgot the amount that Kickstarter was going to take from that cut that they earned. So they ended up like fucking up their estimations on like what amount of money they needed to like accomplish shit. So they ended up going like...
And they like overspent.
Yeah, they overspent.
More than they had.
Which is why like, for, you know, at least how like, I think...
Which is why they switched over to fucking like Unity.
Yeah.
And all that shit.
Mm-hmm. Fucked up real bad. And also because probably like that genre of games is kind of like, I don't know, like no one really cares about that anymore.
I mean, it's one because like, yeah, like whatever, people might not like care about fucking 3D platformers, but that still doesn't change the fact that the game played like ass.
Yes.
like they could have, like, people still have a lot of love for Banjo-Kazooie and like that genre in general. Like people still would have played the game and enjoyed it if it was good, but they just like they made the gameplay shit.
Yep. Well, I mean, you know, I gotta be careful with this one, but look at Korra. That was the same. That was old heads. They fucked it up bad too. Except that one at least has the slightest bit of like understanding, because that was all Nickelodeon's fault for fucking them in like the early game. But like for Ukulele, like this was just old heads that had no idea what they were doing with their money because they weren't operating under like a fucking company that was keeping their shit in check, like fucking Rare.
I mean, you could say that fucking Nickelodeon fucked them in the beginning, but I still blame
the
writers.
There was horrible
fucking everything up so bad with how Korra is.
Yeah.
And how that show played out in general.
There were horrible problems with the writing. But think of it like this. Like Nickelodeon saying you only get one season. That was the main reason why they made Korra master all the elements immediately. It was like a necessity. And that one decision was like a horrible snowball. That pretty much like neutered the rest of the series' potential. Even if the rest of it hadn't already been like predetermined by the fucking gods to fuck up. Yeah, but I think I believe in the dark cloud theory to an extent. Like, again, around like 2011, the dark cloud just like showed up.
There's just an evil cabal of fucking dark wizards that decided to cast this curse upon the industry.
Yep, no more fun.
What would you say was the turning point? Like, what would you say was the last like great game before the cloud showed up?
I mean,
so you're gonna say 2011. I'm gonna go out on a whim here and say Halo Reach. Honestly,
I do like Halo Reach. The reason I say 2011,
that was like the start of the end times.
The reason why I say 2011 is because I feel like Skyrim was like the last game that felt like it belonged in like the old times before like things like really started to go to hell. There's still good games
but even,
past
like,
that point.
Morrowind and Oblivion, people have their problems with Skyrim.
It's true.
And how it handled everything.
It's true, but like that's the thing though. It was still like an enjoyable game. I still enjoy it today. I know what the problems are. Those are just like Bethesda problems because they're fucking stupid. But it was still a good game. They did like a very good job, like given what it was. They like, I still think it was a fluke. But that fluke ended up making them go a little...
I think it was a fluke after like the past 4 good games that they had.
Yes. I still completely think that Skyrim was a fluke. I just don't trust Bethesda in the least. And of course, like I was going to say, after 2011, there was good games, but, that's just like when...
But few and far between.
Yeah, very few and far between.
There's like the Dark Souls series, like anything fucking Bandai Namco puts out.
Yes.
And like, that's it.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like probably...
and Red Dead 2, like... But that's pushing it.
That's pushing it.
But like, as far as Bethesda goes, I trust them with Elder Scrolls because that is like their baby.
Yes.
Like Todd Howard and gang, like that's based off of their OG like D&D campaigns that they used to play. But when it comes to Fallout, it's make it
so over.
Perfectly clear that they bought it and they do not give a fuck what they do with it because they did not make it.
Yes.
Fallout, I know you like Fallout 3. I fucking despise Fallout 3.
I mean,
New Vegas is great, but the DLCs all suck balls, with the exception of Old World Blues. No, wait, not Old World Blues.
Dead Money.
Dead Money.
Nice try.
With the exception of Dead Money. And then Fallout 4 and 76 are just like fucking bottom of the garbage barrel. Like they are horrible.
Now, I've gone over this.
They're like the AVGN garbage bag.
That is one nasty bag. I've gone it over before. That Fallout 3, like I can completely concede. Like it's not even an argument that New Vegas is technologically and like gameplay wise, plot wise, pretty much in every major way the better game for Fallout 3. I just think Fallout 3 had a very good grasp on like the world building and like the ambience. That's pretty much it. The plot is ass. The characters are pointless. A lot of the locations are stupid, but like just the actual like set pieces and like design they had for like DC and all like the metros and shit, like it was really good. And even though the super mutants like shouldn't have been there, I did like the battle pieces they had set up of like the fucking like war in the trenches out front of like the the Capitol building and all that stupid shit.
I could agree that the set pieces and like the ambience in general is like nice in Fallout 3. I will also admit that Fallout 3 has the better radio. than New Vegas,
and
undoubtedly.
And I do like
But
the DLCs, as stupid as they are.
for me, the characters and the story are so overwhelmingly bad that it completely turns me against everything in Fallout 3. Like, I cannot get through that fucking game anymore. I hate the dialogue. I hate that everywhere you go, your character is like a fucking crying baby bitch asking for his fucking daddy. Every person you talk to in that game, you're like, you're every text option, you're like on the verge of tears asking where your dad is.
I don't think it's that bad.
It's pretty fucking bad.
On the verge of tears. I don't think it was like that horrendous, but yeah, the dialogue options were like unacceptable. Like, in hindsight, shit was just not good. Bad story. I mean, Liam Neeson, you know, he really tried to save the game, you know.
I met him for like 5 minutes, and then the game expects me to like go through thick and thin to like find his ass. Like, I do not give a shit about James.
Yeah. Like, maybe if they made it a little clearer from the beginning about like what Project Purity was, maybe there'd be like a little bit more of a driving interest. Like, you made it like a mysterious thing from the beginning. Like, maybe as like a kid, like you saw like a glimpse of his work. So as a player, you're like, oh, what the fuck is Project Purity? You know, I don't give a shit about my stupid dad, but, you know, I would love to see, like, what the hell this mystery is. But no, they didn't even do that. Like, that was an idea in 3 seconds that, like, an entire team couldn't do in, like, a 4-year development process. You know? It's crazy.
It should have just been you, like, walking in on, like, him and... What was the other guy? Who's the guy that takes a picture of the big gay hunter?
The guy,
what's his name
the
again?
big gay hunter? Jonas. Take a picture of the big gay hunter.
Jonas. Yeah, like, it should have been, like, you should have, like, walked in on them, like, discussing Project Purity, like, during one of the flashbacks or something. And just immediately, like, would kind of make the story better.
Like, a little bit.
Because now you kind of know why he's, like, fucking dipped out of the vault and almost got you killed.
Okay, so here's, like, the Fallout 3 overhaul. So, you know, you have the first bit where you're like the baby. And, you know, let's talk about that baby segment for like a second.
And your mom is still alive, so you get to have like the scene where you suck on her nipples.
Okay, so that's in place. Like, what happens is she's going into cardiac arrest. 1,000, 2,000, and like the heartbeat monitor goes like back. It's like, oh my god. So then like, it jumps to like a year into the future.
How come they went like she has a heart attack? They go into like doing CPR. Like, what the fuck kind of shit was that? Like, do they not know basic medicine and fall? Like, they don't know that like you can like give a person going into cardiac arrest like an aspirin and it will like legitimately like immediately increase their chances.
I'd say it's more or less like the fucking writing team didn't know. Like, they had all that tech in the fucking like in that like little room that she was giving birth to, and they didn't have a fucking like a defibrillator, an aspirin, like nothing. They tried to go to chest compressions. Like, she's like
have,
choking,
like, adrenaline or something.
Yeah, like her heart's fucking giving out. She doesn't have a piece of food stuck in her throat.
Yeah, like she's not having trouble breathing. Her heart doesn't have blood getting to it, and it's dying. Like, what is pumping on her chest gonna do?
He's like copping a feel in the final like hour. 1,000 to 1,000, Catherine, come on. So, okay, so after like the nipple sucking moments, like, oh, you're gonna look a lot like your dad. So then like it goes that
You're
he's
nipple.
Oh. It's fucking like whack. Yeah. All right, now you've like forced me on like another tangent before I can even continue. Like, you know how in these games it's usually like a fade in from white. Like, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
So here it's gonna like be a fade in from white, and it's just gonna be like it's gonna zoom
like
out
milk
slowly,
dripping down the screen.
Yeah, then you're gonna look up, and it's like, and it's me, Daddy. Like, the nipple's like hairy. It's like an 8K texture. Okay, so finally you get past that segment. And it's like
you don't even have like the special book or anything.
Well, I'm
like
getting
that.
to it. I'm getting to it. Like that.
You just skip right to like the birthday party. Happy birthday, pal.
He's like still shirtless.
Like he's still shirtless, but his nipples have visibly like grown in size from like the years of you sucking on them. Like, they've swollen up.
They got like bite marks. Oh man, I'm gonna like forget what I was gonna say if I don't get to this. So I was saying there would be like that baby segment where it'd say like a year goes by or whatever, and like you're in that crib. I wanted to talk about it real quick how fucking stupid that part is, because it could have been like, I don't know, I feel like there was really 0 point to that entire segment in general outside of like some minor exposition, because what does it do?
Alpha and Omega.
Yeah, like, you know, I get,
Beginning and end.
yeah, he talks about that, but like if you think about it, the whole
That's from the Bible.
Thanks, James. You know, the whole point of that segment is to teach you how to press a button to interact with things and how to grab and
like,
move objects, which is like inconsequential.
Which never comes in handy.
Yeah, that's like, I don't think there's like any point where you ever need to like really do that.
I also think the idea of that scene is so fucking stupid, because like you really expect me to believe that like your character can has memories from when he was like a year old.
Yeah, no way. And then it just
Like,
pointless.
why is James having like this fucking Bible discussion with this 1-year-old who like wouldn't understand him? Like, he's a scientist, he's a doctor, like he knows the mental capability of a 1-year-old.
Yeah, it's like, honestly, I feel like this whole thing would have been way better paced if there was like the scene at the beginning where you're sucking on his nipple, whatever, like your mom dies, and then it just immediately cuts to the last part where like you're a grown ass man, and I don't know. Like, or maybe you're not like grown necessarily, but you're like of an ambiguous age or something, and maybe then, like, you just like you take all your shit. I mean, it wouldn't make it probably wouldn't make as much sense taking like the stupid goat exam if you're just like an 18-year-old. Like, you're supposed to be like taking that before, I guess. But who cares? Fuck it. Just make it so you're back to like 18 years of age. You take the fucking goat exam, and then like your dad just like slips out like right after the test ends, and like everything goes to shit. You know, it's like, it's not perfect, but I think that's like better paced. So the whole birthday scene is like pointless. It's literally just there to set up like this pointless rivalry with Butch, which gets fixed in 2 seconds. And to, you know, set you up as the big gay hunter and teach you how to shoot a BB gun. It was just like these really long-winded segments just to teach you how to do like 1 or 2 really basic functions that could have been handled way better.
And then you have the goat, which that's supposed to be like setting up like your skills,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's sure,
But like you can still choose whatever you want at the end, right?
Yeah, I don't really have a problem with that, just because like you can go up to the fucking teacher and just say like, can I just skip the stupid test and just choose my skills? And he's like, okay, and you can just do that. It's there if you want to. You know, it's like fucking, it's like Doc Mitchell doing the stupid like the stupid like shadow blot test. Like, you don't really have to answer it seriously if you don't want to. You can still just choose your skills at the end. It has no real bearing. Like the rigor tester machine, you can just skip to the end. Yeah, like fucked up Fallout. Just like, oh, you look a lot like your dad. You know, like sucking his nipple. And like you know, it cuts to like 10 years old. You'll look identical to him, just small. You know, he's shirtless. Happy birthday! And he's just still there. You're gonna look a lot like your dad.
Fucking yeah, I can't imagine any other version of James other than fucking James Hardcheese.
Like a skinny head.
He has like that fish-looking head. You're gonna look a lot like your dad.
You know, I talk a lot about just so freely name dropping, like such a big like out of Bender lore thing on the audience like that. And like the Hardcheese is another one, which I don't even remember if we have discussed Hardcheeses before.
We have not.
Okay, so quick context.
You want?
I feel like I don't have a choice. It's like it's gonna be mentioned at some point in the future, I'd imagine. So I've just said imagine twice, I don't care. So the Hardcheeses were, I think, sometime around like 2014, 2015. I had the concept of just like, well, this was all born from a fucking Critical video. I think it was him playing Spider-Man on
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2, like what, on the PC or whatever it was?
I think so.
And in the comments section, because there's a stupid part where like a scientist or like some character like slides in, like their fucking walk animation doesn't even kick in. So someone in the comment section said that was like Slider Man, otherwise known as like Biff Hardcheese or something like that. And I thought that name was retarded. So I used it, and it became this whole thing where, to make a long story short, in games, I'll make a character as disgusting as the character creator will allow me. We'll name him some variation of Hardcheese that typically rhymes with Biff, and I'll put all of their points into one thing and completely neglect the rest, and that becomes known colloquially as a Hardcheese run. So, in my first Biff Hardcheese run on Fallout 3, since Biff had such a skinny head, as thin as the game would possibly allow.
Choked on water. He said that.
Your character defines how your dad looks in Fallout 3. So when I finally saw him, like outside of like the first cutscene, his head was like disgustingly thin. Just like his son. You're gonna look a lot like your dad. So that's the explanation there. I gotta fucking drink some of the water too. God. So yeah, great.
Now these days, the Hardcheese family is widespread across the world and many different timelines as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of Hardcheeses, many games, but they've mostly been in the Fallout series.
That's the game.
Yeah.
Mostly Fallout.
Fallout 3 in Vegas. There's been like 2 in Fallout 4.
There's been 3.
3 in Fallout 4? Well, I mean, I guess like for unique ones.
For unique ones? Okay, so yeah, for unique ones, there's 2.
A lot of Hardcheeses.
And both of them are completely useless.
I like to, I usually like to write up a little bio on the characters, like write like what their problem is. And I think one of them, his point was he was so average that it was like a superpower, I think.
We're talking about Myth here, right?
Who fucking knows anymore? They're like such D-list Hardcheeses. Like I couldn't be bothered to even remember them.
I think Myth was the average one. He was one that lived in Biff's attic and pretended to be him when he wasn't home.
You would be right. I mean, Myth Hardcheese. I have like the whole folder open. The most average Hardcheese. Okay, yes, him, Myth, along with his wife, lived inside of Biff's attic. When Biff and his wife would leave, Myth would climb down and pretend that he owned the house. That is way too stupid. Who's the other Hardcheese?
As far as I'm aware, the only other unique Hardcheese to Fallout 4 is Bluff Hardcheese.
Yeah, Bluff. That's gotta be it.
Which you can't explain without talking about Buff first.
Since that's your Hardcheese, maybe you'd like to explain.
Do you want me to like explain the entire Buff story
you don't have
here?
To,
or
you
just
could just
because
give, like,
Buff has a very long story.
You could just give like the spark notes if you want.
So Buff Hardcheese. I don't even. What vault was that? That was a stupid vault from Project Brazil.
Yeah, it's like who cares? It was like it was the Project Brazil vault.
So Buff was born in whatever vault that was. His unique set of skills was that instead of having only 10 in one thing, he had 10 in strength, 10 in charisma, and then to balance that out, he had 0 intelligence. Let's see. I actually do have a decent bit of a bio here. Arguably the most dangerous Hardcheese in the family, almost all known photographs of the original Buff's existence are gone. He was as strong as a tank, but as dumb as a brick. Oh, here it is. Born in Vault 18, Buff had sexual relations with every girl he had met until he clubbed them to death with his favorite weapon, the iron pipe. His family also found the same fate, being murdered by their own retarded son. So yeah, Buff, because that mod like had stupid bits where you could like coerce women to having sex with you. So Buff would like have sex with everyone. His family didn't show up to eat. Well, first, the guy whose leg he broke in the football game, he found him in the infirmary. The dude shit talked him, so I bashed his brains in with a tire iron. Then I went back to my house, chased a woman down, and beat her to death in her apartment. Went to my apartment, talked to my family, None of them were at the football game, so Buff beat them all to death as well. And then when the vault came under attack after Buff's stupid dream sequence, the game didn't have it scripted if your family was dead before, so they all respawned just to die a second time.
Also, it's really weak earlier. You have to explain it as coercing women into sex, as if the whole point of it isn't supposed to be that they're attracted to you. You gotta coerce them. It's a fucking animal in a trap.
So, when I attempted to going off of this thing in here of Buff, all of his original photographs were erased from existence. I kind of forgot what he looked like. So when I played Fallout 4 for the first time, I tried to recreate Buff based off of memory, and it was so completely not him that it has since been retconned as a new character named Bluff Hardcheese. Let me get his bio up real quick.
Okay.
So yeah, Bluff Hardcheese had the ability to transform into any Hardcheese he wanted. When confronted by a bully at school, he transformed into Buff Hardcheese to gain his strength. After pummeling the bully into a pulp, Bluff didn't realize that he also inherited Buff's retardation, and thus couldn't change back to his normal self.
What school is he in? This must be the youngest Hardcheese. These are grown-ass men. This one's middle school. Or is he just a grown man, walking around?
It's really dumb because I can put his picture up on screen for the episode where he's his face is all weathered and he's bald. He's bald.
So if this that's the guy, I'm just gonna, just for the sake of of hilarity, I'm gonna assume it was middle school. This grown ass man was just getting bullied in a middle school, and then he required to beat him to death. He felt compelled to change into the strongest Hardcheese to clobber a child to death. I think he got what was coming to him. It's scary to think that there's two Buffs canonically living out there somewhere. Shit. Yeah, there are a lot of Hardcheeses in here. I think there's 20 plus Hardcheeses.
In my Hardcheese folder, I have 26. And Beb is also in here for some reason.
Beb, they don't count. Now, I also have a single other, unedited text file in here that's just called Sweat Hardbean.
Is there anything in there?
No. I think I brought up with you outside of the bender that I wanted to make Sweat Hardbean be the antithesis to the Hardcheese family.
He's the ultimate villain to all of them.
Yeah, the Hardbean. I don't know. I don't even remember where I got the idea. It just popped into my head one day, and I thought it was a really stupid name. I have no idea what anything about him would be like what his motivations are, who in the Hardcheese family wronged him. But yeah, that's there. Boy, that's gonna be really stupid. Looking back at this video and seeing the Bluff picture.
Who the fuck is Quipp?
Clip?
Quipp. Quipp Hardcheese. Who is this?
I don't have that in my folder. And I have the Hardcheese folder. Who is that?
Okay, Quipp and Quiff were the Hardcheeses I made for Fallout 1.
Oh my god. Wait, was one of them a Cliff?
Quiff and Quipp.
Cliff? Or are they both Q?
No, they're both QUI. One ends in two Fs, one ends in two Ps. Known for his exceptional agility and endurance. Let's see what he had here. He had 10 agility and 7 endurance for Fallout 1. Known for his exceptional agility and endurance, Quiff was only 8 years old when the water chip crisis began.
Kid.
The denizens of Vault 13 convened on the issue and decided the best way to decide who should be tasked with finding a new chip was to draw straws. When Quiff received his designated straw, he was dismayed, but ultimately determined to help his fellow residents. Immediately upon leaving the vault, Quiff was beset upon by various beasts, barely escaping the vault entrance with his life by running. After leaving the vault, Quiff was ambushed by a pack of rat scorpions and eaten alive in the desert.
Great. There's not too many Hardcheese that are just canonically dead. Now, what about the other one?
Quipp. Average in all things, Quipp was the much older brother to Quiff. After 6 months had passed since Quiff had left on his expedition, and no word had been heard.
6 months? Does the water chip, like, die by that point?
I guess it wasn't that bad. Quipp had volunteered to search for his brother and, if needed, bring back the water chip.
If needed, assholes.
After leaving the vault, Quipp quickly brushed aside all resistance in the vault entrance and stepped into the wasteland. Venturing to a nearby settlement, Quipp soon found the nearly completely decomposed corpse of his brother, Quiff, only recognizable by his name tag. Continuing his quest to save the vault, Quipp traveled to many places before hearing that his favorite cum dump, Tandy, had been kidnapped by the Khans. After tracking them down to their hideout, Quipp was pulled into a vortex, being stuck in an infinite loop of the events that played out with the Khans. Some say he is still trapped in that paradox, hoping for a savior to this day.
What happened? Your game, like, crash or something?
The game got, like, corrupted.
That's definitely gonna be the most, like, brutal, like, relationship between two Hardcheeses right there. They just sent in a miner out to his fucking death for no good reason.
And also, like, the stupid part that I don't know if you picked up on when I wrote that he received his designated straw.
Yes.
It's like someone had picked out the smallest straw for him already.
Pieces of shit. Still can't get over, like, the get the water chip if needed. So, like, disingenuous.
Wait, there is a Quiff Hardcheese?
Yeah.
Unrivaled bad luck is what it says for him.
Yeah, unrivaled bad luck. Having achieved nothing of significance, Cliff has failed to do practically anything correctly, including suicide. There's just a massive disparity in, like, some Hardcheeses. Like, some, I don't even really, like, I should have, convinced myself earlier that I should only make a Hardcheese if I really care about the run. I definitely had, like, 4 Hardcheeses that just, like, I think I just made them just to, like
nowhere.
Yeah, that went nowhere. Like, no one gives a fuck about them. And they make no reappearances in other off-bender, like, Hardcheese related antics.
Like, I looked through my fucking thing here and I found Siff Hardcheese. And I'm like trying to remember who he was without opening the bio.
Yeah, good fucking luck. I remember Siff. Just barely.
He's so fucking gross.
Well, I mean, what else is new? Like, pretty par for the course, honestly. There's very few, like, Hardcheeses that look normal or even handsome.
Who was Siff? Do I have to, like, open? Are you gonna make me open the bio?
Okay, so if I recall, he was in New Vegas, and I think he... What was it? He joined the Powder Gangers because of a really stupid thing that I can't remember. Like, it was the most, like, dumb plot I could have, like, come up with for one character. So if you want to read it, be my guest. That's just what I recall.
Let's see. Okay, arrested by the New California Republic. Arrested by the New California Republic for attempting to break into a public bathroom. Siff had the endurance of honey? What does that mean? What is that supposed to mean?
Beats me.
Despite being thin and frail, he manages to survive any injury inflicted onto him. He often escapes death by running, which some have witnessed him doing for days. He once picked up a pencil dropped by a powder ganger back in grade school, so he is now respected by them. Siff spends his days taking pot shots at NCR soldiers and moving boulders onto the tracks of the monorail. His ultimate goal...
I can only imagine.
His ultimate goal is to have someone ask him if he's been working out.
So fucking stupid. Oh man. I mean, he's like not as like throwaway as Myth, I guess. But he's still like a B or C list Hardcheese.
He's like a B. Yeah, he's like a B.
He's like a C
B
plus
team Hardcheese.
I really should like put them by tier. That's what I should do. Have a whole episode dedicated to the Hardcheese tier list.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
That'd be a really dumb idea for a video.
Yeah.
Like a tier list on something, on an inside joke.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask him if he's been working out. I don't even remember like when I initially wrote that. That was, of course, all these like are gonna be. If I look at like the dates, they're all gonna be like wrong. Siff, 2018 doesn't sound right, but it might be true. Siff might be from 2018. Which is really stupid. I know at least Sniff Hardcheese is from 2015. He's, I think, one of the oldest Hardcheeses. I think he was actually the second one I ever made. Right after the Biff run.
You said Sniff?
Yeah.
Who the fuck is Smith?
Fucking Smith. I don't even have that.
I have a folder for Smith Hardcheese, and there's nothing in here.
Great. You know, what's really stupid is I think, like, I had one like that in here. I don't know if I can, like, find it. Might not be in here anymore. I don't know. It's so stupid. Just, like, I don't know how you, like, had these, like, Hardcheeses, like, to yourself for so long.
In my defense, Quiff and Quipp were both, once again, like, Fallout 1. Those are, like, my own playthroughs, and Quipp is so fucking useless that, like...
more useless than, like,
or not Quipp. Quiff is so useless.
Like...
Quiff's playthrough, I think that lasted maybe 5 minutes, excluding the character creator.
Yeah, but the story is, like, still so out of pocket. It's gotta be added to the archive. You're like, have to send me that shit once this bender's done. Oh, man. I did not think we'd be, like, talking about the Hardcheeses like this. That's the one thing I'm afraid of, that, like, one day, you know, when the Bender Hour, you know, takes off and overtakes Mr. Beast, that, you know, other people are gonna be interested in the Hardcheese line. They're gonna try to, you know, it's gonna be like DeviantArt people, like, making, like, their own, like, OC, like, Hardcheeses.
Like OC Hardcheese.
Yeah, I'd have to, like...
Is that not what we've been doing for the past, like, fucking however many years at this point? Like, maybe 7 or 8?
but they're, like, our Hardcheeses. You know, so like if someone else came out with a hard cheese, I'd have to like personally step in as like the fucking pope
to,
and like excommunicate
DMCA
them. Yeah,
Send them a cease and desist letter.
Cease and desist. It all came from like a fucking comment. It was never my intellectual property to begin with. And I think the origin of hard cheese to begin with is like something, it was like an offhand comment made in a fucking Mystery Science Theater episode, as far as I can tell. So it's like really not my intellectual property.
It's because I think if you search up hard cheese, isn't there like
a blast hard
there's
cheese?
There's like a Google image, yeah. And who knows where he fits into the family.
Yeah, I already have in the bio that none of the other hard cheese, they all refuse to recognize his existence, let alone like his blood lineage. And it says only a DNA test will reveal if they are right. And that file was made in 2017. It's been a long time coming. As we speak, I'm currently actually on a new hard cheese run of New Vegas with a Siff Hardcheese. That's with an X.
What's his like special ability?
He's Chinese.
How does he fit into the family?
Yet to determine that. This thing is that he has very high perception, and I made him like 4'8". He's just like way shorter. I don't know. There's a lot of horrible overlap and like lore inconsistencies with hard cheeses. This guy you riled up.
I wish I could say on here, but I can't.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. You can tell it to me off Bender, which is also a reason why I think you probably reflected back at that hard cheese tier list and probably like thought to yourself, like, yeah, this might not work. Because that's what I was like, you know, I was silently thinking that to myself when you brought it up. Sorry, when you extrapolated on it, rather, because I technically brought it up. Oh, man. I mean, I don't know if you have anything else to, like, add, but I kind of wanted to, like, go into another, like, really stupid topic of just something I was, like, thinking about.
Yeah, I think we said all we can about the hard cheeses for now.
So, this is something that I was thinking about over the past week, and it was, why do birds get such preferential treatment over every other wild animal by humans? And what I mean by that is, how come they get, like, birdhouses and wildlife nests and all
like
of this?
Fountains.
Yeah, fountains.
Bird baths.
Yeah, they literally, they have to be, like, the most infrastructure built for, like, a wild animal has to be for birds. Like, you don't see us, like, building, like, turtle nests out, you know, like, in the fucking woods or anything like that. Or, like, you don't see us building, like little jungle gyms for squirrels.
So do you want, like, the real answer or the bullshit answer? Which one do you want first?
Which one would you rather tell me, like, bluntly first?
Well, the bullshit answer is honestly probably gonna be just, like, you know, like, we're jealous of them because we can't fly. But I'm gonna go off of a whim, off of just pure, like, common sense, I suppose. We probably like birds because, like, you know, 200 years ago when everyone was a fucking farmer, birds were, like, just free pest control. Like, they could sit around and they would eat, like, bugs and other, like, small things that we couldn't keep away from our crops and animals. So, like, they were just generally viewed as, like, a good thing to have around.
Now, that's true. But I'm going to say that, like, stray cats do that exact same job. But
they can't, like, get, like, insects like locusts and, like, shit like that.
Sure, they
like,
can't.
Birds do that.
But I would say, like, since they're both doing, like, two very important jobs, like, one chases away, like, you know, the rats, mice, and, like, other, like, little rodents and shit, which is an equally as important pest control measure. How come, like, yeah, you know, at most, you might see, like, someone leaves, like a dish of water out in front of, like, their, like, little shop or, like, their house, or, like, a stray. you won't see someone set up like a fucking cat house, or like a little jungle gym outside for a cat to play on. But like a bird house and like bird feeders are like ubiquitous. Like they have way higher preferential treatment.
I guess it just depends on culture, because I mean, you look at like ancient Egypt, and they were like, they fucking viewed cats as deities, and like to this day in like Egypt and like generally the Middle East in particular, there is a decent amount of reverence for cats there. It's to this day. Like in fucking Turkey, there's like, I think Turkey has more of like a stray cat population than anyone, but like they like take care of the strays there. It's not like they just like leave them out to fucking dry. Like they kind of like they have respect for like the cats. I would say it's more of like a Western culture thing where like we place birds above cats for whatever fucking reason. I guess because we're more in tune with dogs.
Maybe, and I guess like stray dogs are like way more rare than stray cats. Not to say there aren't stray dogs, but it's way less common in my opinion. I've seen stray cats.
I don't think I've ever seen a stray dog.
I've never seen it. I know they exist. I've just never seen one in person. I've seen lost dogs, never a stray dog. But, you know, it's like I said, birds just get like, they really do get it made. Because like people in the West,
yeah, like aside from birds of prey, like generally speaking, like birds are pretty welcome because they keep lots of like flying pests away.
Yeah, except like here. Like the birds quite literally don't do anything. They eat that shit and then they fucking leave. But you know, like a cat, they have no choice but to like, you know, hunt rats and shit. So it always kind of like perplexed me. That shit was like, it never really took off the same way. People do the bare minimum for stray cats, but go all out for birds. But I feel like depending on the area, some might like do better than the other. I don't know. That was just like my really stupid thought over the past week.
I guess the only other thing too is that birds are just like, they have a bit more of like a majestic factor to them.
Okay.
Because they're usually like pretty colorful, you know, depending on the species. Especially if you're like down south, where like most people have like hummingbird feeders. Like, those motherfuckers shine.
Yes.
They got like a majestic factor to them.
And I know they have bat houses.
Makes you want to have them around.
They do have bat houses. I know that's a thing.
And bats do the same thing too. They're like good pest control.
Yes.
And we don't have vampire bats here, as far as I'm aware, so we really don't have to worry about that.
I hope not. Like they're like flying foxes to like scare the shit out of like midnight motorists.
Dude, if there was a flying fox here, I think people would legitimately be like shitting themselves. I can almost guarantee you that most people in our area don't know that flying foxes exist.
No.
And when they think of bats, they think of like, you know, like the small like insect eating ones.
Dude,
that use like sonar. They don't think of fucking flying foxes.
There'd be like fucking like that would be like outrage if like our older population
if there was like one of like those like
that.
4 foot tall ones like flying around.
Yeah, dude, just like imagine like it would be like one of those silent like news things you'd see on like Facebook or something, where it'd be like playing that music, and it says like, you know, like a local resident catches this on their Ring camera, and it's just fucking like 6 foot wingspan bat flies up to like this stupid like eats like a beetle.
Strange flying creature spotted.
And then every comment's like someone like no one below the age of 65 saying like, what the fuck is that? Like I've never seen something like that. This is what the government's been making. And then it'd be like some guy in all caps just like saying kill it. And then of course,
honestly, it is kind of like, it is a little frightening how big those fuckers can get.
Yeah.
Like even like the biggest birds, like a fucking condor, like, you know, they still don't look that big, even like when they're on ground in front of you. Like a flying fox is like those fuckers can get to be like 4 feet long. Like,
yeah.
they get fucking big.
The thing is like,
and they can still fly, which is like what makes them scary.
It's because naturally like a large bird, like a vulture, or like maybe like just like a particular eagle or something, like they're big, and you know they'll naturally like make you like unsettled, I guess, if you saw one that wasn't in like a Zeus situation. But like, you know, the silhouette of a bird, but like if you saw something that big flying that's like furry and has a snout, it like fucks with you psychologically. It's like, what the fuck? That's not right.
Yes, it can at least take solace in knowing that they're all like herbivores and they just eat fruit.
Yeah, for now. Stupid creatures. I only had one other, like, this was like the incredibly stupid like topic. I can't imagine this going anywhere, so that's why I saved it for the end. I'll read it verbatim. What I wrote down: baby food. What's adult food?
I feel like the answer to that is pretty simple.
I mean, but is it?
My initial response would be anything that has to be chewed.
It's just, I feel like baby food, it's like one thing. It's like one mushy, substance that could be differently flavored. But if you had to have one singular adult food, what do you think that would be?
Fuck. Because it'd have to be like a complete
Yeah.
meal.
This is like a fucking calorie mate.
Fuck. Does it have to be like a singular object of food?
Well, if we're following the example of the baby food,
Like, it can't be
you
like a
might have
meal. It can't be like a meal. It has to be like something that like you squeeze out of a tube.
to. Maybe not necessarily have to squeeze it out of a tube, but like, I think it has to be one singular item.
Like one singular mass.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Like I said, this was like the stupidest thing I like thought about, and for good reason. That's why like I saved it for a year.
As dumb as it sounds, I think the only way to get like a true like complete meal type of thing out of that is to do like a meatloaf, but like include vegetables and like fruits in it.
That sounds horrible. Like a baby would probably enjoy baby food. Like adults say that baby food tastes like alright. Like that just sounds miserable. And it's stupid too, because then you go to like old people food, and to a degree, it goes right back to like mushy baby food.
Baby food. It's like applesauce and shit like that.
It's just adult food, just to like cover like the fucking sadness of like adulthood, like the midlife crisis. You're eating this disgusting fruit laden meatloaf. You're like crying.
Like, why would you need it? Like, you could chew. Like,
It's just marketed as adult food. You just take
I
one
think that's
look.
like it's gonna like appeal to the same people who like go to like the arcades where you can drink beer.
Yeah, like the barcade. Oh, I bought adult food at the barcade. Like, dude, you gotta try this disgusting meal. Like it's like your perfect, like it's the meal of the future. It would be like a squared off meatloaf patty with like little bits of fruit and vegetables in it. Tastes fucking horrendous. And your drink is like a whole fucking bottle of like soy. It's a fucking Soylent and like a meatloaf patty.
It's a Soylent based IPA.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah, a Soylent based IPA, and then this one like disgusting soy based. It's gonna be a Beyond like meatloaf patty, perfectly
So there's, like,
squared
no
off.
meat in
It's
it?
no real meat. It's completely like plant based, and it's got fruits and vegetables in it. It's just gonna be called like a nutrient patty, but they call it adult food. That's like the marketing strategy. Adult food. Finally, that's gonna be the tagline. Fucking response for the question no one asked.
Like, the dumbest part too about this is I could see this having an actual like consumer base of
I know.
like inner city losers. Like,
Yeah, like, oh man, trying my adult food. I'm on an adult food diet. Like, well, like, see why these like, urbanites can't stop talking about adult. You're switching over to adult food. I can already picture the commercial. It would be.
Is the logo like an adult version of the Gerber baby?
Oh yeah, it's like straight up uses face app to like make it like older, so it looks stupid. We'd have to like find the Gerber baby. See what he looks like now.
Find him now.
You think that information's like because I'm not like looking it up right now.
That's like a guarded government secret. He's like walked away like 15 feet underground in like a fucking locked up complex.
Yeah, I was like wondering. I wonder if the Gerber baby's identity is like public domain.
He's got like a secret service attachment with him at all times.
Bigger than that of the president's.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look this up right now. Gerber baby identity.
Who is the Gerber baby?
Oh my god, this is an old woman. Over the years, okay, there have been rumors of the actress Jane Seymour being the Gerber baby.
There are rumors, but no confirmation.
Apparently, but mystery novelist and retired English teacher Anne Turner Cook knew the correct answer. She is the Gerber baby. Okay, so it's an old woman. So she's like way too old. She's getting like the fucking like the elderly food.
Why don't they put her face on like old people fucking applesauce?
Yeah, I mean that probably wouldn't be too bad.
Make it come complete circle. Maybe we could find a picture of her when she was like in like her 20s. There has to be at least one that like her family has.
Yeah, like we'll sneak into her house. Like it'll be like the whole stupid like Mission Impossible scene. Like we'll rappel down from the ceiling and have to like shoot out that spray that reveals all like the laser trip wires before like we remove the pictures from like her fucking like nightstand. Adult food. That's awful. I can't even imagine eating that thing. Definitely like puke. These people like probably like it, or like they would somehow convince themselves to like it. So I've never tried soda in my life, so I have no idea if it even like tastes all right. I don't plan on ever trying it.
I've never tried it either. I came close to trying it once because like I was like, I like give it one taste just to like
just
see,
for the joke.
but I was like I'm not gonna spend money for that, and I didn't. It's like there's that picture. I don't know if you remember that picture of me like at the fucking 7-Eleven, like pointing to it and doing the soy face.
Oh yeah.
That was from that night when I like almost bought into it.
Now, assuming that we were the creators of adult food, would you like try it just for the joke?
No, that's like
you don't do your own
for the
product.
masses. Yeah.
We'd have to have like a secret subsidiary called like Real Food, just like only for us to eat.
Like as if fucking like adult food is gonna like wipe out all
like
other
wipe
food
out
on the
humanity.
Like, why would we need our own subsidiary to procure our own food when we could still just like go to the supermarket and like buy whatever we need?
Well, because let's say we have something like this. Let's say it's like adult food, and then like it gets picked up by like the like environmentalist movement. They say like this, like adult food is like the perfect thing to combat climate change.
And then the NWO shows up and starts giving us like subsidiaries and like fucking money to like promote our shit,
promote the adult
to take
food.
over the food market.
Distributors. Like every restaurant now has at least one option to like get like an adult food, like meatloafs like wedge, in the same way that a lot of like burger places offer at least one like Beyond like burger option.
Beyond Burger.
Yeah. And it would have like a fucking like multi-billion market share.
It'd be like fucking like Uber and all that shit where like the entire company is propped up from outside investments.
Yeah.
But except we would actually be a profitable company at
Yeah.
the end of the day because we're just better.
Problem is, I think there actually are.
I am better.
The problem is, I don't know if it actually is like a massive like research and development hurdle to like make a stupid plant-based meatloaf patty.
I feel like the research is already done for us, considering all like the fucking Beyond.
Yeah, but
shit
you
that's
say
out there already.
you say that, but it's not like I can run it through like fucking like Plankton's wife and like process like what it's made out of. Like that shit, like the ingredients and like what you need to make it's like copyrighted. I mean, you could pull like an asshole move and like claim that your competitors are in like a source of litigation and then steal their ingredients from the copyright office. But like that's gonna get you arrested.
Like the real simple thing to do is literally just go off of the ingredients list on the package, because although like you don't know the exact proportions, you still know the basic thing that it's made out of. And United States food label laws require them to list them in the order of like percentages, so you can tell like what is going to be in higher and lower amounts in the food.
Just eyeball it.
You could generally reverse engineer pretty much anything that's on the market that's food related because of like food laws.
It's scary. Would we even attempt to try to reverse engineer like the best tasting ones, or we just go all out and make it a disgusting loaf?
I feel like it has to taste some. It has to have some redeeming quality to it to try to get people to fucking buy it.
So if that's the case, I would have to suggest that the vegetables that are like the chopped up vegetables that are included would have to be something like easy, like celery. What would be the fucking fruit that would be inside of this thing? Like plantains, maybe, just to get away with it. Like that's the only thing I could think of that like wouldn't be like too stupid. It would be like a scary banana bread.
Dry. Put in fucking like raisins.
Yeah, like some raisins and maybe like a plantain version. And the rest of it's just like horrible, like Morningstar, like fake sausage meat.
Fucking like Skyrim ass town.
Have you ever had a Morningstar sausage?
No.
It's the most disgusting thing I've ever eaten. That was like actually marketed as real food. It's like I had to get that off my chest.
What the fuck did it taste like?
It tasted like it was fucking rotten.
You sure it wasn't just
Yeah,
rotten?
it was not just rotten. I tried it on like another occasion. It was just as bad. Fucking horrible. That's what I have to say about that. I don't know if you have anything else to add.
Only thing else I have to add in regards to the fucking like Beyond Meat shit is that I've tried those things on multiple occasions, and they generally don't taste good. The only time they ever have is like they have like the sausage versions of them, like the sausage patties. Like those taste pretty good. They taste like actual sausage, but like everything else, like the Beyond Burgers, like they taste like flowers.
I think you told me it tasted like grass the first time you tried it.
Yeah, you can tell it's plant. Like, it does not taste like meat. Anyone who says that it tastes like meat is completely fucking deluding themselves.
It says it tastes like meat. It's like a fucking cow, like wearing like a human suit. Alright, let's wrap it up here.